What's the one thing separating those who turn billion-dollar ideas into reality from those whose dreams fizzle into oblivion? The difference maker isn't resources, intelligence, or even luck ultimately. It comes down to an unwavering mindset, a psychological code that allows the rare few to take monumental leaps others can't fathom. And few entrepreneurs embodied this phenomenal mindset better than Jeff Bezos. This is the man who had the audacity to believe millions would pay for getting literally anything delivered to their doorsteps through this crazy online book-selling idea. An idea so disruptive it spawned a trillion-dollar tech empire that reshaped commerce, cloud computing, logistics, you name it. So how did Bezos develop the psychological fortitude to bet his entire future on such an insane, unprecedented gamble that defied all conventional logic at the time? What gave him the unwavering self-belief to walk away from a cushy corporate career and pour his life's work into this ludicrous-sounding scheme of selling books over the internet? In this video, you'll get an exclusive inside look at the core principles and mental frameworks driving Bezos' stratospheric rise from humble beginnings to building one of history's most disruptive companies. So, whether you're an entrepreneur chasing your own moonshot, or simply want to look inside the psychology of great innovators, stay put. One of Jeff Bezos' most powerful philosophies is what he calls the day one mentality. This obsession with constantly operating with the hustle and hunger of a new startup, no matter how massive Amazon became, was critical to their sustained innovation over the decades. Let's hear directly from Bezos on why having a day one culture is so important.
Well, so day one, this is a phrase that we use at Amazon all the time. I've been using it in my first annual shareholder letter from 20 years ago. And we say it's always day one, and it needs to be day one for the reason that you just mentioned.
As Bezos lays out, the biggest threat to established companies is that they lose their startup's scrappy, risk-taking mindset that allowed them to innovate rapidly in the first place. Amazon's incredible scale and resources are an advantage, but they could also breed organizational inertia. That's why Bezos was maniacally focused on instilling day one principles deep into how Amazon operated and made decisions. Let's walk through three core pillars of his day one philosophy: cultivating a perpetual startup hustle.
If you can have that entrepreneurial spirit and heart, while at the same time having all the advantages that come with scale and scope.
Jeff Bezos wanted Amazon to be a unique mix, combining the vast resources of a large company with the aggressive, innovative spirit of a small startup. To achieve this, he introduced unusual practices like the two-pizza team rule, where no team at Amazon is allowed to get larger than what 2 pizzas can feed, usually 5 to 7 people max. This forces teams to stay lean, autonomous, and nimble like a startup, obsessing over the customer, not competitors.
Which is customer obsession. I think that's the most important thing. If you can, and it gets harder as you get bigger. When you're a little tiny company, say you're a 10-person startup company, every single person in the company is focused on the customer. When you get to be a bigger company, you've got middle managers, and you've got all these layers, and those people aren't on the front lines. They're not interacting with customers every day.
In the early days, while competitors like Barnes & Noble dismissively called Amazon the everything store and tried matching them, Bezos quietly had his team laser-focused on a simple yet radical idea. Don't pay any attention to the competition. Obsess over customers instead. Accelerating decision velocity.
Even those reversible decisions start to be made with heavyweight processes. And so you can teach people that these pitfalls and traps, and then teach them to avoid those traps. And that's what we're trying to do at Amazon, so that we can maintain our inventiveness and our heart and our kind of small company spirit.
Bezos ripped out organizational bottlenecks paralyzing decision-making at most corporations. Amazon embraced frictionless disagree and commit protocols and a culture of rapid experimentation over paralysis by analysis. In sum, this day one decisiveness allowed Amazon to operate with the agility of a lean startup. Whether you're a founder trying to keep that startup hustle alive in your growing company, or just someone fascinated by the minds of elite entrepreneurs, this approach is crucial. Why? Because trust me, you don't want to know what happens on day 2.
And I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having trying to participate in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision.
Those words from Jeff Bezos reveal his profound regret minimization framework, the mental model that gave him the fortitude to ditch his high-paying, safe corporate job and pour everything into the insane gamble of selling books online.
I went to my boss and said to him, I'm going to go do this crazy thing, and I'm going to start this company selling books online. And this is something that I had already been talking to him about in a sort of more general context. But then he said, let's go on a walk. And we went on a 2-hour walk in Central Park in New York City. And the conclusion of that was this. He said, this actually sounds like a really good idea to me. But it sounds like it would be a better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good job.
While most would analyze the risks and list reasons not to take the leap, Bezos flipped the script. He projected to the end of his life and realized his biggest regret wouldn't be failing at a new venture, but never trying his biggest ambitions in the first place. This regret minimization mindset is perhaps the most powerful psychological force separating elite entrepreneurs like Bezos from the typical corporate employee mindset. Here's how you can apply it. Get a blank journal or open a note on your laptop. Then envision yourself as an 80-year-old looking back on your one and only life. What missed opportunities, dreams deferred, or roads not taken would fill you with nagging regret? Write them all out in vivid detail. For Bezos, not participating in the internet renaissance loomed as an unbearable regret. For you, it could be not starting that business, creating that art, taking that career risk, or spending more time with loved ones. Whatever those regrets are, feel them deeply in your gut. Use that emotional intensity as jet fuel to purge them from your life. The anti-regret choice matrix. Now make a simple 2A2 grid analyzing your biggest life decisions through this lens. On one side, list the short-term risks and costs of pursuing that reimagined life path, quitting your job, going broke, stress. But on the other axis, pile up the potential long-term regrets of not chasing that reinvented reality, purpose unfulfilled, wondering what if, leaving dreams on the table, etc. Let those regrets marinate. Most people obsess only over the short-term risks and rationalize inaction. Bezos and other Greeks like Musk invest deeply in minimizing lifelong regrets instead.
It really was a decision that I had to make for myself, and the framework I found, which made the decision incredibly easy, was what I called, which only a nerd would call, a regret minimization framework.
So, if you're chasing your own moonshot ambitions or simply hungry to operate with that same entrepreneurial psychology, make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.